Instinctively, people are inclined to run away from a disaster, from a terrorist event, and whereas emergency medical services personnel, their instinct is to help. Really, if an EMS professional wanted to get experience in emergency response, there really isn't a better place to go than Israel.
From the disaster standpoint, they're world-renowned as the experts on disaster management and rapid recovery and resilience.
It's tragic that they've had that much experience, but at least they've been able to create one positive side to it, which is their expertise that they're very willing to share with the rest of the world.
I was happy to be part of a larger group of EMS professionals. Recently traveled to Israel to learn from our colleagues there.
This is the headquarters of all the EMS of Magen David Adom.
To get to see their central dispatch center and to hear about their operations and meet with their medical director was really just a tremendous professional EMS experience.
Combining the forces to a real national system.
Obviously, they deal with high-impact circumstances more frequently than us, especially along the lines of traumatic injury, explosions.
We do disaster drills because, like, something bad might happen, like an earthquake or a tornado. They do disaster drills because they live it.
We went to the south part of Israel and talked to a lady who lives within a few miles of the border between Israel and Gaza Strip. And she talked about the frequent shelling and her fearing for her and her son.
I've been in that environment when I was in Afghanistan with the Army, where we got shelled regularly. And I know that sense of being on alert and on guard, like, all the time.
But she chooses to stay there because she wants to instill hope in those that cannot leave. I thought that was quite touching.
When we've learned that 74% of the children in one community have post-traumatic stress syndrome, and we assume people are affected, but we also see that they handle it. They're resilient, they're strong, they're tough, but yet there is a toll.
The bus ride north from the Gaza Strip was very quiet, and it was interesting to observe as we all just sat and reflected. My worst night's sleep was that night.
This was a life experience, not only to enjoy the beauty of the country, but also the beauty of the people.
They're very much into taking care of themselves, creating communities that are resilient, even under the most horrendous circumstances.
And I think that I'll probably never look at the news again in a two-dimensional way. I mean, news now has a third dimension to it.
Israel is incredibly important to us, not only because of their strategic location, but because they're a shining example of what democracy and fairness and rule of law can do, even in the Middle East.
We need to strengthen the collaboration that we have with Israel. They're an important partner. We gain as much from them, or maybe even more than they gain from us.
I've seen it, I've heard it, I learned it. How am I going to translate it to share with my staff that they can benefit from my experience?
If someone asked me about traveling to Israel, my response to them would be, don't hesitate. A visit like this is the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm still very moved by the experience that we had there.
My life is much richer as a part of having been on this trip. No question about it.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God.